Question 221. Federally chartered savings and loans operating in California are regulated by A. Federal Home Loan Bank Board, B. Federal Reserve Bank, C. California State Treasurer, D. Department of Corporations. Correct answer is a Federal Home Loan Bank Board. The Federal Reserve primarily regulates commercial banks, not S&Ls. The State Treasurer handles state funds, not federal S&L regulations. The Department of Corporations, now the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation, regulates state-chartered financial institutions, not federally chartered ones. Federally chartered savings and loan associations, S&Ls, are primarily regulated at the federal level. Historically, the Federal Home Loan Bank Board, FHLBB, was the primary regulator. Now the FHLBB has been replaced by the Federal Housing Finance Agency, FHFA. The FHFA is an independent federal agency that supervises and regulates Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and the Federal Home Loan Bank system. Therefore, even though the name has changed, the function is the same, and the correct answer is the federal level regulation. Question 222. A childless couple with no will pass away within a couple of months of each other. If no legitimate heirs come forward to claim their property within 5 years, it will A. escheat to the state of California, B. be sold at public auction in a sheriff's sale, C. be sold by the IRS to pay for the property taxes that accumulated after the owners died, D. either A or B. Correct answer is A. escheat to the state of California. Sheriff's sales typically occur for foreclosure or to satisfy a court judgment, not for unclaimed property after death. While property taxes are a lien against the property, the primary process for unclaimed property is escheat. The state would take over the property, and then deal with the tax issues. Escheat is the legal process by which property reverts to the state when an individual dies without a will, intestate, and has no legal heirs. This is a standard legal procedure to ensure that property doesn't remain abandoned or unclaimed. Question 223. A transaction involving the sale of a property is considered a transfer of title by A. Voluntary alienation, B. Involuntary alienation, C. Eminent domain, D. Bequest. Correct answer is A. Voluntary alienation. Involuntary alienation is the transfer of title without the owner's consent, such as through foreclosure or a tax sale. Eminent domain is the government's power to take private property for public use, with just compensation. While it does transfer title, it is not a normal sale. Bequest is the transfer of personal property through a will, not real property. Real property is transferred through a devise. Voluntary alienation refers to the voluntary transfer of title to real property, typically through a sale. It occurs when the owner willingly conveys their interest to another party through a deed. Question 224. In a real estate sense, equity is defined as the A. difference between the property value and any liens against it, B. property's asking price, C. difference between the property value and any loan amount owed by the owner, D. both A and C. Correct answer is D. Both A and C. The asking price is what the seller wants, not the owner's equity. Equity represents the owner's interest in a property, which is the value of the property minus any outstanding debts or liens. Since market conditions affecting price and an owner's loan amounts vary over time, so does equity. Question 225. If a borrower defaults on a loan and the lender starts the process of judicial foreclosure, the right of possession to the property is held by the during the redemption period. A. mortgager, B. sheriff, C. mortgagee, D. judge. Correct answer is A. mortgager. Judicial foreclosure involves a court process to sell a property to satisfy a debt. In many jurisdictions, including some in California, after a judicial foreclosure sale, the mortgager, borrower, has a statutory right of redemption. This means they have a period of time to pay off the debt and reclaim the property. During this redemption period, the mortgager retains the right of possession. The sheriff's role is to conduct the sale, not hold possession during redemption. The mortgagee, lender, has initiated the foreclosure, but they do not gain possession until the redemption period expires, or in the absence of a redemption period, after the sale. The judge oversees the legal process, but does not take physical possession of the property. Question 226. An estate of indefinite duration would apply to an A. Tenancy at sufferance, B. Periodic tenancy, C. Estate of inheritance, D. Tenancy at will. Correct answer is C. Estate of inheritance. Tenancy at sufferance is a type of tenancy where a tenant remains in possession of a property after their lease has expired, without the landlord's permission. It is a very short term, and not indefinite. Periodic tenancy is a lease that continues for successive periods, e.g., month to month, until terminated by either party. While it can last for a long time, it is not indefinite. Tenancy at will is a tenancy that can be terminated by either the landlord or the tenant at any time. It is not an indefinite duration. An estate of inheritance, fee simple estate, most commonly a fee simple estate, is the highest form of ownership in real property. It is of indefinite duration, meaning it can last forever and be passed down to heirs. Question 227. When an owner fails to pay taxes on his property, it can be sold at public auction by the county tax collector. A. After posting a notice of sale on the property, B. After the notice of publication of delinquent taxes with a copy mailed to the delinquent owner. C. Without notice, since it is assumed the delinquent taxpayer should know his land may be sold for non-payment of taxes. D. None of the above. The property cannot be sold at auction without a hearing before a judge. Correct answer is B. After the notice of publication of delinquent taxes with a copy mailed to the delinquent owner. The government must provide due process before seizing and selling a person's property. This includes providing adequate notice to the property owner. In most jurisdictions, including California, the county tax collector must publish a notice of delinquent taxes in a newspaper and send a copy of the notice to the delinquent property owner. This ensures that the owner has a reasonable opportunity to pay the taxes and avoid the sale. Notice via mail and publication is generally required. While a judge may be involved in some aspects of the process, the primary method of notice is publication and mailing, not a formal court hearing prior to the auction. Question 228. When both parties agree to take back a contract, the process is called A. Rescission, B. Novation, C. Adjustment, D. Termination. Correct answer is A. Rescission. Novation involves substituting a new contract for an old one, or substituting a new party for an existing one. It doesn't mean taking back the original agreement. Adjustment implies making changes or modifications to the contract, not completely canceling it. Termination can refer to the end of a contract, but it doesn't necessarily imply mutual agreement to undo the contract entirely. Rescission is the act of canceling or voiding a contract as if it never existed. When both parties mutually agree to rescind, they essentially agree to undo the contract and return to their original positions. A rescission is sometimes referred to as a contract to destroy a contract. Question 229. When a party promises not to do something as consideration in a contract, it is called A. Forbearance, B. Rescission, C. Caution, D. Adjustment. Correct answer is A. Forbearance. Rescission is the act of canceling a contract. While caution may be involved in making contracts, it is not a legal term that defines a promise not to do something. Adjustment means to change or modify something, not to refrain from doing something. In contract law, forbearance is defined as the act of refraining from exercising a legal right. When a party promises not to do something that they have the legal right to do, that promise can serve as valid consideration for a contract. Question 230. The following are essential elements of an exclusive agency listing agreement, except A. The names of the broker and seller, B. The property price, C. Termination date, D. County Recorder's acknowledgement. Correct answer is D. County Recorder's acknowledgement. A valid listing agreement, including an exclusive agency listing, requires certain fundamental elements to be legally binding. These typically include 1. Identification of the parties. The agreement must clearly identify the names and contact information of both the seller, property owner, and the real estate broker. 2. Property description. A clear and accurate legal description of the property being listed for sale is crucial. 3. Listing price. The agreed-upon listing price for the property must be stated. 4. Commission terms. The agreement must outline the terms of the broker's commission, including the percentage or amount to be paid upon the sale of the property. 5. Duration of the agreement, termination date. A specific start and end date for the listing agreement must be included. This defines the period during which the broker has the exclusive right to market the property. 6. Type of listing agreement. It must be clear that the agreement is an exclusive agency listing. This means that the broker has the exclusive right to sell the property, but the seller retains the right to sell the property themselves without paying a commission to the broker. 7. Terms and conditions. Any other specific terms or conditions agreed upon by both parties should be clearly stated. They are not typically recorded in county records. Acknowledgement by the county recorder is not required for the agreement to be valid. Acknowledgement is more commonly associated with deeds and other documents that transfer or affect title to real property.